time for another pickups video, first of all. Now it's been about a month since I've done one, which is a rather long stretch, but I was waiting for a package to come. And it still hasn't come, but I've decided, it's going to take probably another week due to a shipping error, but I've decided I'm just going to go ahead and do a separate video for that, because it's going to be an awesome, excellent package. So I figured it sort of warrants its own video. So in the meantime, we'll just do this one here, and this one's no slouch itself. This is about a month worth of stuff, and I got some really cool things. So before I get to that, though, I just wanted to say that I'm going to change the editing once more a little bit. The last video, it performed well as far as views go for me, but the editing was not very good. I just couldn't figure out how to get it exactly how I wanted. So I'm going to ditch that whole idea almost. I'm still going to show you gameplay, but it's not going to be picture-in-picture like it was, which was a cool effect, but I had some audio issues, and that was a really weird way of going about it. This way is just going to be a little easier for me, which but it's still going to require quite a few hours of editing, I think, but it's still just going to be a little easier. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I don't know quite where to start. We'll go ahead and start with some modern stuff. How does that sound? So this game here is a pawn shop pickup, and I only got it because it was rather cheap, and it's in a series that sort of went astray right about the time this game came out. And the game is Shadow the Hedgehog on the original Xbox. It's complete. I haven't played this. I watched my nephew play it for a little bit. It looks okay. I don't know. It's not something I really want to play, but I figured, for it was just a few bucks, it'd be cool to have. So I ended up getting it. Alright, this next one is a even more recent pickup. It's actually a current generation game, and it is New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Now this is actually very good. I have the original New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. But this was at the pawn shop for $10. $10, if you can believe it. This is still about a $40 game. I think it still retails maybe for $50. But yeah, so I got it for $10, and yeah, I actually have beaten this. I played all the way through it and really thoroughly enjoyed this game. I like it quite a bit more than the DS version. I'm still a fan of the 3D Mario games as opposed to the 2D, but this is an excellent throwback. And New Super Mario Bros. 2 is coming out for the 3DS very, very soon. I'm still tossed on whether I'm going to get it right away or wait or even get it at all. But yeah, I did just finish this one, and I was very happy with it. It's a really fun game. All right, this next one I'm not really sure if I have showed or not. I've had it for a while. I just don't think it made it into my last pickups video, and it's Punch-Out for the Wii. Now I have not played very much of this actually. Again, I watched my nephew play it. It looks fun. I have played it a little bit, and it is fun. It's an excellent throwback, a lot like the Super Mario Bros. To the original NES games. And yeah, I mean, this is a cool game. It's cheap. It's less than $20. I think you can get it for no problem. I did this in a trade from a guy on Nintendo Age, and I thought it was a good deal. And yeah, so Punch Out on the Wii. It's a fun game for the Wii. If you have a Wii and you're looking for a good game to play, I'd actually recommend this one. Okay, next are just some handheld pickups, which I literally never get. And this pickups video, it has probably the most handheld games I've ever had in a pickups video, and it's only 4 games, so that should tell you something. Now, this first one is for the DS. It's a disappointing game, no doubt about it. It's Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron. I'm a huge Battlefront fan from the original one and the second one on the Xbox, and this one is just nowhere near as good. It just isn't. It just doesn't play the same. It's not that fun. It just isn't meant for the DS. I thought it might be decent. Unfortunately, I was wrong. It's really not that great. So I really can't recommend this game. But, I guess it was fairly cheap, so I guess it's not a huge loss. But, yeah, not very good. Stick to the console versions. Okay, these next are all original Game Boy games, which, if I do get a pickup a portable pickup, it's usually DS or 3DS. It is never original Game Boy stuff. I can't even remember the last time I got an original Game Boy game. But this was from a friend. He said I could just have it. He found it at his house, along with some NES games, but they were all real common, and I had them already. He said I could have this, so certainly I took it. It's The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. I haven't played it yet, but it does look pretty fun. I'm decided yet quite how I want to play this. I don't know if I want to play it maybe like on the Super Game Boy or maybe in a Game Boy Advance SP with the backlit screen. And I even thought about downloading it on the 3DS eShop channel. But as of right now, I haven't played it. But it does look rather fun. Alright, next are a couple of pretty cool games. I've recently decided to complete my Battletoads collection, and after these 2 games, I'm only 2 games away. So I'll go ahead and show you which ones I have here. The first one is Battletoads in Ragnarok's World, however you want to say it. Basically, this is the Battletoads on the NES ported to the Game Boy. It's an okay port, I guess. It's essentially the same. The problem is that this game clearly wasn't designed to be played on the Game Boy. It was on the NES. So, if you thought the Turbo Tunnel, like, on the NES was hard, this is just brutal. Because the screen is so little, and it doesn't control the best on a Game Boy. So, I would only recommend this, I guess, if you really have to play Battletoads. And you can even find a better way to do it. This next one, however, was not a disappointment. This was actually a really cool game, and it's complete in box. It is the original Battletoads for the Game Boy. Now, this is a completely original game. You would think that this one would be the port of the NES, and that one would be an original game. But it's
and this one is very good. This one is very good because it was tailor-made for the Game Boy. The way they made this game, you can tell it was with the Game Boy in mind. It plays to the Game Boy's strengths and shies away from the Game Boy's limitations. And this is a fun game. It's not terribly difficult, but it is rather challenging. It's still not completely fair all the time, I feel, but it's a good game. So and it's not very cheap or not very expensive.
So this one I would actually recommend. The other one I wouldn't really recommend like as playing if you're a collector, sure, but this one I can actually recommend both ways, as a collector and for playing. Now, I've showed you these 2 Battletoads games. I'm missing 2. I'm only missing 2 more before I have the complete set. I am missing Battletoads Double Dragon on the Game Boy and Battletoads on the Game Gear, both of which are relatively easy to get online. I just haven't quite done it yet. So I'm hoping to complete this collection fairly soon. Alright, next we'll do a couple of NES games that I've had for quite a while. Now this first one I've actually had before, but I ended up getting rid of it in a trade to Sick Cooper. And I have this already on a compilation game, and it's Ninja Gaiden 3. I have it on the Ninja Gaiden Trilogy cartridge. I actually prefer to play that version over this one. And I just find that they play better, and they're a little bit more fun, a little easier with all the unlimited continues and the passwords.
It's a little more appealing. This is still good, still a good game and everything. It is rather tough, I will say that. It's probably... I'm forgetting how many continues you get. You might not get any. And if you do get any, it's very few. So this game is very tough. But, it's the last one I needed, and I now have all 3 of them on the NES.
So, happy to have this one back. I would love a box and manual for this, by the way. The first 2 I have are complete. This one is loose, but I'm happy to have it anyway. Okay, this next one I can safely say is a better game than Ninja Gaiden 3, and it is Metal Storm on the NES. This is a rather underrated, obscure game by IREM. Yeah, in this game you play like a robot mech sort of character.
And it's a side-scrolling shooter. It's fairly standard in that sense. But what's really cool about it is you have the ability to sort of manipulate gravity. You can, you'll be walking on the floor. You press like up and B, I think it is, and all of a sudden you're walking on the ceiling. Now, when you do that, your enemies also go from the floor to the ceiling. So you can play that use that to your advantage. Being able to reach certain areas, being able to kill certain enemies. Yeah, this is a really cool game. It's relatively unheard of. Not a lot of people talk about this unless you're talking about underrated games. But this is actually, this is a very good game, and it's sort of going up in price. It's fairly uncommon, like I've said, but
I remember when I was first looking at this, I could easily get a copy for under $30. Now you're looking at around 35 to 40, sometimes even more depending on condition. This one's not mint, but it's still fairly good. This and Ninja Gaiden 3 cost me $30 total from a Nintendo Age user, so that was a great deal by him. Really happy to have these. I've been looking for Metal Storm for a while, and I'm really happy to have it. Okay, this next one is completely random. Just completely random. It is a Genesis game, complete in box. It's from a friend of mine. He had it, and he collects a little bit, but not very much. Obviously not like I do. And it is a complete copy of Earthworm Jim on the Genesis. You know what? First off, it's complete. It's in pretty good shape actually too. And this was free. He just pretty much gave it to me.
The problem with Earthworm Jim is that, like how Metal Storm is underrated, this game is overrated. This game is not that great, I gotta tell you. It's not bad or anything, it's just overrated is a perfect word to describe it. Let me just read. There's 2 quotes from critics on the back of this game, and it says, "The best game ever to hit a screen. This isn't game of the year, this is game of the decade."
Okay, and the other one says, "It's going to take a miracle for another game in the 16-bit category to even complete with Earthworm Jim for Game of the Year." Now, this game came out in 1994. I don't have the list right now in my head. I have it somewhere, but I don't have it memorized. I'm going to list games that were released in 1994 that are easily better than Earthworm Jim. This game is not that good. It's okay, but it's not that good. I find it highly overrated. But that's just me. Take that as my opinion. Yours may differ. Next is a rather unique little haul of Saturn games, which I'm always excited to get. It was a guy from Craigslist messaged me. He had some Saturn games and the Saturn. He only wanted $50. I asked him if he'd take 40. He accepted. And what I did was I bought the whole lot, and I kept the games I wanted, and then I went ahead and sold the system and the other games, and it ended up costing me nothing. I think I might have made $5 on the whole thing, which is cool. But yeah, I was only because when you don't have very much money, that's the best way to go about things, is to buy them in lots, take what you want, and sell the rest for hopefully what you paid for the entire lot. It's hard to do sometimes because people know the value of this stuff. But anyway, these are the games I kept. First off, I might as well show this. It came with a Sega Saturn Netlink and the corresponding disc, which I thought was very cool. Basically useless. Completely useless now. But I thought it was unique. Okay, now onto the games, the most important part. Nothing outstanding, but 2 notable titles. The first one, the more common ones, is Virtua Racing, which I was not even aware was on the Saturn, actually. That means this is on the Genesis, 32X, and the Saturn, so whatever. It's an alright game, nothing spectacular, but it is pretty fun. Next is a game that I've had the case and manual for forever, and I obtained a disc, and it is Daytona USA, the Special Championship Circuit Edition. Yeah, it's Championship Circuit Edition. Again, another racer, a pretty good game, but nothing spectacular, but pretty fun. Alright, these next 2 are the games from the lot that I really wanted. This is the whole reason I bought the lot. And now I didn't get this game because I'm a big fan of the series, as you know from just a few minutes ago. I just got it because it is rather uncommon on the Saturn, and I thought it was a good opportunity to get it. It's Earthworm Jim 2. Now, this one I've played for quite a bit. The first one I haven't played a ton of, but this one I've played quite a bit. And again, I just find it to be overrated.
I don't know what the general consensus is of the sequel. I don't know if people find this one to be better or worse than the original, but I just don't think this game's that great. Again, it's okay. I respect the game. I appreciate it for what it is. It's a unique art style. It's funny, but it's just I don't find it that great. And
overrated. Yeah, again, overrated. I think that's a good word for it. I mean, obviously, if your opinion differs, feel free to comment and let me know why, but I just don't quite find the Earthworm Jim games to be that fun. This last Saturn game, however, I differ strongly. And for anybody who says that this is bad, it's a relatively obscure game, underrated for sure, and it's a stall on the Saturn. This is an excellent platformer. This game is gorgeous. The graphics in this game are beautiful.
This game, you know what, you can actually warrant getting a Saturn for this game, and you can also forgive Sega for not having a great Sonic game on the system because this is on here. This game is awesome. It's a really fun platformer. I'm actually considering doing a review on this.
What's interesting about this case, though, notice it doesn't say a stall on the side, either of them. And it's not just mine. I've seen this in this game before, which is really weird. I'm not sure quite why it's like that, but anyway, a stall on the Saturn, an excellent game, highly recommended. Okay, only 3 more things, and we can wrap this up. This next one is actually rather old. I've just forgotten to show it a few times. It was at Goodwill, and it's Roller Coaster Tycoon for the PC, the big box edition. Now, this also comes with, I forget the expansion pack that it comes with. I think it's Corkscrew Follies. But Roller Coaster Tycoon is an amazing game for the PC. I grew up playing this game, and it is insanely fun. You build your own roller coasters, you build your own amusement parks. It is awesome. Love this game. Can't recommend it enough. It also has a sequel, Roller Coaster Tycoon, which I also have, and is amazing. It also has another sequel, the third one in the series. I haven't played that one. It does look a little bit different than this, which is, I don't know. But yeah, I cannot recommend these games enough. They are awesome. This was $2, by the way. Alright, and next is a guide that I got off of eBay, which I hardly ever get, but I thought it was a very useful guide, because the game is not necessarily the most self-explanatory. And it's Mario Paint.
It's in okay shape. I got it for like $4, I think. So it's pretty good. Yeah, this goes through a bunch of things that you can make. It's very cool, and it does walk you through it pretty well, so if you're new to the game, it is easier to follow.
But the game is still a little hard to get used to. But you know what? It's a fun game, and this really helps with it. I gotta be honest. Okay, and lastly is maybe the best thing here. Now, if you know, which many of you very well may not, I have a NES action set in the box, and I recently worked out a deal with a friend of mine, and I'll explain that later. It's actually the package I'm working on. I traded my box to him for some other stuff. But in the meantime, a friend of mine, the same friend that gave me Earthworm Jim, by the way, gave me this for just a few. He gave it to me, and then I sort of I bought him dinner a few times and whatever. So, but it is another complete in-box action set. This one's in about the same shape as the one I had, I suppose. The only thing that's different about this one than the other one is the contents. This
Thing is very, very nice inside. The NES is in great shape. It's got all the plastic baggies, stuff like that. Yeah, this is very cool.
The box is in similar condition. It's not perfect, but it's okay. And the only difference other than that is this is the orange gun version. Mine was the gray version. So this is very cool. I am working on getting another boxed NES, a different variant, so we'll see about that in the future perhaps. But that's everything, and we're probably going on about 20 minutes, if not more, right now. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for some more videos coming out. I got a really, really great package coming next week, so please be on the lookout for that video. So until next time, guys, take care. Quite a few hours of editing, I think, but it's still just going to be a little easier. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I don't know quite where to start. We'll go ahead and start with some modern stuff. How does that sound? So this game here is a pawn shop pickup, and I only got it because it was rather cheap, and it's in a series that sort of went astray right about the time this game came out. And the game is Shadow the Hedgehog on the original Xbox. It's complete. I haven't played this. I watched my nephew play it for a little bit. It looks okay. I don't know. It's not something I really want to play. But I figured I enjoyed this game. I like it quite a bit more than the DS version.
I'm still a fan of the 3D Mario games as opposed to the 2D, but this is an excellent throwback. And New Super Mario Bros. 2 is coming out for the 3DS very, very soon. I'm still tossed on whether I'm going to get it right away or wait or even get it at all. But yeah, I did just finish this one, and
I was very happy with it. It's a really fun game. All right, this next one I'm not really sure if I have showed or not. I've had it for a while. I just don't think it made it into my last pickups video, and it's Punch Out for the Wii. Now I have not played very much of this worth of stuff, and I got some really cool things. So before I go get to that, though, I just wanted to say that I'm going to change the editing once more a little bit. The last video, it performed well as far as views go for me, but the editing was not very good. I just couldn't figure out how to get it exactly how I wanted. So I'm going to ditch that whole idea almost. I'm still going to show you gameplay, but it's not going to be picture-in-picture like it was, which was a cool effect, but I had some audio issues, and that was a really weird way of going about it. This way is just going to be a little easier for me, but it's still going to require. Hey guys, it's CRGR here, and it's time for another pickups video. First of all, now it's been about a month since I've done one, which is a rather long stretch, but I was waiting for a package to come. And it still hasn't come, but I've decided, it's going to take probably another week due to a shipping error, but I've decided I'm just going to go ahead and do a separate video for that, because it's going to be an awesome, excellent package. So I figured it sort of warrants its own video. So in the meantime, we'll just do this one here, and this one's no slouch itself, this is about a month for it's just a few bucks. It'd be cool to have. So I ended up getting it. Alright, this next one is a even more recent pickup. It's actually a current generation game, and it is New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Now this is actually very good. I have the original New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. But this was at the pawn shop for $10. $10 if you can believe it. This is still about a $40 game. I think it still retails maybe for $50. But yeah, so I got it for 10, and yeah, I actually have beaten this. I played all the way through it and really thoroughly enjoyed it.